So obviously this video is past due. I'm recording it at 1 a.m. actually on Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving. Right now I'm giving, with the pajama pants and the gray button down, it's really giving mom in like horror movie, like a haunted house that's like being followed around. In the honor of month 3 at the University of Arizona, ranking and talking about my professors, because now that I only have 3 weeks left of the semester, including the break, my semester is practically over. To make this video a little more exciting, a little more enjoyable, I thought of doing a Dance Mom style ranking of professors, starting from the bottom tier to the top. However, because I care about my professors and I go to a public university, we are not using their names. We are using SpongeBob characters. I tried my best to draw them because of copyright laws. This is my 1 a.m. on Thanksgiving, energy, my vibe. First, to get started, Professor Pearl. We put you in the bottom tier. You really did not impress us.
On the bottom, Paige, you were good. I'm waiting for you to be great.
Professor Pearl, honestly the bane of my existence. I would wake up in cold sweats, scared that I had a missing assignment for her. I mean, the first day I got to Professor Pearl's class, I sat and the person next to me was talking to the professor like she already knew the professor, which was weird because it was the first day of class. And I asked her, I'm like, do you know the professor? And she was like, yeah, I'm a sophomore. I had the class last year and professor failed me and I have to retake it. I really should have taken that warning a little more seriously. On top of that, Professor Pearl, I kept hearing about this 1.4 rating on Rate My Professor. I do not take Rate My Professor really seriously. I take it with a grain of salt because 2 things. 1, anyone can write on there. There's no verification, you don't even have to technically go to the university to write a review, I think. And the second thing is that no one really goes on Rate My Professor to write good reviews, I feel. There's a lot more negative than positive. Even though that was a bad sign, I try not to think about it too negatively. Oh, how innocent I was and how wrong I was. Put aside the fact that she does so much work for her class that really doesn't need that many assignments. She makes you work in a group of people, like 4 people, like every single week, which if you do not like group projects, you will hate this class. Also, she doesn't really respond to emails. I thought that was just me. You're busy, I'm busy, I get it. Also, like worst case scenario, like I'll just talk to you in person because we have class. If you're a professor and you see my email and then you just choose not to respond, and then I send you 2 follow-up emails being like, hey, just wondering if you saw my email, and like you don't respond. And then I see you in person and I ask, oh, I don't think you saw my email because I sent a follow-up. And then you say, oh yeah, I saw your email. What? I already have to go through enough dating and people ghosting me. I don't need my professor doing it too. It's just some of the things she says in class, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this would never happen. And I look at my classmates and I try to talk to them about it. Anyways, I'm kind of losing the point. I just think a lot of the stuff she teaches doesn't really make sense, or it's not very much linked to a personal experience of her teaching. I've never heard her say, when I taught a student this happened, and because of this happening, this happened too. Like there's never been a personal experience. And that to me also worries me. I'm like, why are we never actually talking about personal experiences with students, right? Also, what is exploding dots? I had a test on this. What is this? Why am I struggling like a 4th grader? I was once a 4th grader. That's how I made it to the 5th grade and so on to college. But like, what is this? There is literally no resources on the internet to understand this except for one guy that talks, I think he has an accent or something. Like there's no resources. Anyways, that was the weirdest college experience for me ever. I felt like I was learning a foreign language. Then on top of that, she has 4 TAs. There's 30 kids in the class. I've never seen 4 TAs in a class. I didn't think you could hire 4 TAs for a class. But apparently there's so much grading because there's so much work for 30 students, they have 4 TAs. Professor Pearl gave you the benefit of the doubt, but you really just shot every hope down. On to the next professor, Professor Doodlebob.
And next, Kendall. You didn't stick out to me. In your improv, it should have been like, ooh, wow, look at that. Who's that?
I even left Doodlebob in pencil just to like add character. Professor Doodlebob to give reference, is not a bad professor. Oh, by the way, Professor Uofa is a woman. It's a female professor. I just didn't feel any of the SpongeBob female characters like amplified Professor Uofa, but Uofa is a woman. Very good professor. Understanding, great communication, understands and gives benefit of the doubt, looks a blind eye sometimes missing homework. Professor Uofa teaches our language class, not at the pace of the curriculum, and not at the pace as if someone is learning the language for the first time, as is the class is for elementary. It's an elementary level class. You're learning the alphabet the first week. It's at the pace of the people in the class, and a lot of people in the class have taken this language for years, took it as kids, and because of that, you know, the alphabet, which is very complicated, instead of taking a week or two to understand, took like 2 days. The quizzes are based off 2 weeks of work, the tests are based off 4. I understand it's a lot of work, but the way it's taught is assuming that you understand it automatically. When I ask questions in this class, I honestly sound like the dumbest person there. I wish she didn't teach at the pace of the students and just taught at the pace of the curriculum. Besides that, she's stellar. She is. I would have taken a summer class to prepare for this course if I knew, because that's what I did for math. Next professor, Professor Gary.
Next is Brooke. Brooke, when are we gonna see you stand out as the leader, as the foreman on the job?
Professor Gary is also a woman. Professor Gary kind of teaches the class in the most nonchalant way. I mean, I see her 50 minutes a week. It's a lecture. She sometimes explains the directions in a confusing way. And then I just have to see her like younger assistant teachers, which are basically just sophomores and juniors in the same major. They explain it in a lot better way. So I'm happy she chose those assistant teachers because they're very good at their job, even though they're only sophomore and juniors, they're only a year above me. I got no notes for you, Professor Gary. I'm sorry about that. Professor Patrick.
Nia, you're third on the pyramid. You were third overall high score.
You're almost there. You do have some flaws. Professor Patrick literally has this energy, has this smile bursting with energy. It's because he's like, you want to turn in a late assignment? Late? It's not going to be late. I'm just going to grade it whenever. Just do it before the semester. Sometimes he's like so happy and energetic and like he's just rephrasing things in a different way. And I'm like trying to have a conversation and he just looks at me like he's literally the embodiment of Patrick Starfish. I cannot imagine trying to have a conversation with him besides class. Sometimes he does a lot of assignments and meetings very last minute, and I don't think he understands that like I cannot change my schedule the day before for a group project meetup. Like I can't do that. There's only like 8 to 12 people in the class, so like obviously maybe the 8 to 12 people are cool with it, but like I'm not, and I don't want to lose points because I just can't change my schedule a day before. So you were almost perfect. You could have maybe got here. Maybe. The competition was just fierce. So it's not you, Patrick. Okay, it's competition. Next, Professor Sandy is an icon and is a woman.
Mackenzie, overall high score of the mini division. You did a great job. You went out there and you won.
I have to admit, I only see Professor Sandy once a week. She's like the nicest human being ever. She's like, oh, I love the university. I love all the sports teams. She like knows about sports too, which is so cool. And on top of that, she works at a food pantry. And then on top of that, like she's the most understanding professor. She looks at us, she's like, yeah, I have nothing to say. You all can go home. You're adults. She literally has like one assignment per week and it's like a reading and like a 1 paragraph response. It's the easiest homework. But one time I missed it. Okay, now there's like 20 of these, okay, and I missed one. I said, is there anything I can do? And she was like, yeah, you can meet with me for extra office hours. I'm thinking office hours is like, to get extra credit is like an hour thing, it's a commitment, you gotta do something to get points. I met with her on Zoom for 15 minutes and she's like, you're good. I have a 99.5 in the class. With all my attendance and extra credit points that I'm gonna do, I'll get like 101 points or something. I love her. And I love that class. Like I can't explain to you, like I think it's an idea of like, not Professor Pearl, but at least I got Professor Sandy to brighten my week. We have Professor Squidward.
Is Maddie.
Now, the only reason why I'm calling him Professor Squidward is because they're both bald. You go in the lecture hall and you sit, you write notes, and then you leave. Sometimes he just misses class early, and I email him, and literally I can never not appreciate someone responding back to my emails. He'll email me back in like half an hour, and I'll respond to him right away. I'll be like, I will literally write the email, thank you so much for your response and your patience. Like, appreciate so much a professor being so direct and so specific with their directions. I hate D2L. This is like a known thing. I hate D2L. It's the software we use to do our assignments. He sets up everything in the software so nice and so formal. You can tell he's been doing this for years. His rating is like 4.8, 4.9. You rate my professor because I did look. I gave him a little crown. He's king. That's my review of my professors so far. Month 3 at the University of Arizona. How's life going? I thought I would add a little new segment to these little month check-ins called What Did I Learn? Like one thing, my takeaway from the month. It doesn't have to be academic, it could be anything. I actually got this idea from Professor Pearl's class. She had us fill out this worksheet where it's like one thing you took away or learned from your week. And we were supposed to do it every week, and then we never did it again. And I found the worksheet randomly in my bag, and I was like, oh, that existed. This month, I learned something a little new about myself. This month, the thing I learned was that I feel this need inside to find someone, to date someone, and constantly trying to date someone like I'm racing to the point where it was a little psychotic, is because I had this feeling that if I don't pursue enough and do enough in every category of my life, that is lacking in me as a person. And then I need to find someone to date someone, not because I don't like myself in my own time, but to prove that I can have someone love me and appreciate me, and that I am worth someone's time. Because I felt like I was not enough for the people in my life. So that's great. It was fun. It was fun to learn this month. At least I learned it at 19, right? At least I learned it in the first semester of college. Ever since I started dating, I've always, like, anytime I'm single, I'm like really going after like dating someone to the point where it's like a couple like weeks like after having like a huge breakup with someone I dated for a long time, I was like, I need to get back out there. I'm like racing, I'm like missing out on something. I would tell my friends and it'd be like, oh yeah, you feel that way too. And they're like, I feel lonely, but I don't feel that. I don't feel the need of having someone else like with me. I just feel like I need to date someone because I don't have enough. It's a little confusing. Honestly, learning that about myself, not to be dramatic, changed my life. I immediately felt like relieved. Honestly, after figuring that out, I was like, maybe it's good I'm not seeing anyone, because I should really not be seeing anyone. Like, I'm not, maybe I'm not. Yeah, so I've been single for going on 9 months now. It's not my greatest era. See, here's the thing. When you are single for 3 months, you know, you're settling into being single, you're like, okay, cool, like 3 months isn't bad, that's a good time. That might be like half the time you were with someone before, you know, it's a good adjustment period. I think I'm ready to get back out there. 5 or 6 months. It's more the feeling of like, oh, you know, I'm kind of settling into this whole single thing. Someone's just right around the corner. And then you get to month 9. And how do I explain this? You know what? And this was Professor Pearl's class. We've been learning about exponential and linear graphs and functions. Let me explain it like this, okay? The longer you're single, okay, the higher your standards go, okay? So which makes it hard to date. Towards the colder months, you know, the cozy months with the hot cocoa and the holidays, the population of people that are single decreases because it's literally cuffing season, okay? People are really getting together. Every day I'm seeing more and more really inappropriate PDA. This era of 9 months single, I like to call no man's land. Your standards are too high and there's not enough people around, so there's really no chance till after New Year's. This is the longest I've been single since the 8th grade. So if you're curious how I'm reacting, the thought of me going back out there at 9 months single, trying to flirt with someone and date people and like meet people, kind of feel like an old NBA player. Like, you see these tall, athletic, 360 dunking 21-year-old dudes that look like insane athletic guys. And then you got these like old NBA players that you're like, how are you still playing? they're still trying to play in their prime. My fear is if I try to hit on someone or date 9 months single, it's gonna look embarrassing and it's gonna look desperate. And I kind of just I need to know when to throw in the towel and admit retirement. I had a good run. Yeah, it's not my time. Maybe I'll coach. Honestly, I've been pretty good at giving advice to my friends. So maybe that's just maybe I'm just giving Gandalf vibes. Trying to date is a horrible, horrible experience. People ask me, why are you single? Which is just you asking me what's wrong with you. No, that's not what I mean. Why did you think that? If that's what you mean when you say that question. So to answer the question, what is wrong with me? Let's answer that. I think I'm weird. Let me correct that. I know I'm weird. It is 1 a.m. on Thanksgiving and this is what I'm doing in my free time. I know I'm weird, but I've always kind of known I'm weird. I'm okay with that. I'm this is my little quirky side. But I think when it comes to my stats, as a human being, if we're thinking about those terms, I'm a freshman in college, actually 15 credits into college already from dual enrollment and summer classes. I'm in the best shape of my life. I work out 2 to 3 hours a day. I don't talk or I'm friends with any of my exes. I have all these really cool, amazing friends, mostly in good terms with my family. I have a support system. I have enough money to pay for coffee and dinner. I have all A's in my classes, maybe 2 B's or C's. If we're going criteria wise and what makes a person a good, attractive person and what's attractive to date, I think I'm doing okay. Here's my theory. I'm not saying this theory I'm not a part of this theory and I am the problem. A lot of times I sometimes notice that people that are maybe somewhat problematic sometimes get a partner. I think for me, I'm very upfront about what I want in a relationship and what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for hookups and I'm looking just for dates in a relationship. I'm monogamous. I'm very direct about what I want. I'm not really into the BS and let's talk for 3 months and nothing happens. I'm very let's just go on a date, see how it goes. What's the worst that can happen? I feel sometimes people are subconsciously attracted to flaws that they're familiar with. Things that their former partners or family members or people in the past have done that even though it's not the best, a part of them is already familiar with that flaw versus someone that comes off, has a flaw that they're not aware of, a flaw in a person or an insecurity that you're aware of and you've seen before is actually a little more secure to you than something new and someone new. I'm not saying this I'm the exception. I'm not doing a psychological deep dive and I'm oh yeah, me, never. I did that crap 2 weeks ago. It was the most embarrassing thing ever. I have a tendency for dating people I think are the hottest people in the world, and then I'm you can treat me like crap. If a hot person looks in my direction and even looks at me, smiles at me, gives me a compliment, everything, every little piece of confidence, every little piece of confidence in me, every security in me, everything just disappears and melts. And you dismiss me or treat me poorly, I'm oh my god, I don't think you meant it. I think it was just an accident. You just, life gets busy. I think you just forgot to text. It's not you didn't mean to text. I let people that are really hot and amazing looking treat me like crap because I'm I am so grateful to be in your space. And instead of me waiting for someone to treat me and appreciate me the way I want to be treated and appreciated, I usually head towards people that treat me the way I feel I should be treated, which is fully flawed. We got some working on to do. The way I throw myself at really hot people is so embarrassing. If I was watching a movie and seeing myself, it would give myself secondhand embarrassment. It's horrible. It's so embarrassing. And I'll sit there and be I can't believe I did that. Can you blame me? Especially at university, hot people kind of piss me off because I'm I wish you didn't know it. I grew up and I was never really complimented for my looks. I never recognized myself attractive. I'm this charismatic for a reason. I just kind of had to work with the cards I was given. Now I'm in college. And I'll be in my PJs, going to get food, and I'll have people hit on me when I'm out with my friends, or think I'm attractive, or ask my friends if I'm single, or asked for my Insta. Like, just straight up asked me for my Insta. This has never happened to me before. In high school, I basically 90% of the time always took the first step. I think I can tell you 2 or 3 times people asked me out in high school versus the dozens of times I have. And it was always just a confidence thing. And people like hit on me now. And it's weird because when they do it, I'm thinking to myself like, are they talking to me? And this is horrible to say out loud, but I'm a 19-year-old woman in college. What is wrong with them? Did they see me from the wrong angle? Why are they talking to me while I'm in my PJs? Why? Did they just have a breakup? What's the drive? What's the passion? It's so weird for me being like an adult in college, like a 19-year-old adult in college, like now being found attractive by like other people my age, and I'm like not used to the feeling. And also the fact that I've just been single so long, so I'm like, I don't even really care. It is weird when you did date a lot through high school and you've never been this single this long, and now you're just like, I just think this is it. I feel like I'm just coasting. You know, one of those people that are like on those sailboats, drive it with like a pole and a flag, and like they balance it and they like go through like that boat. That's how I feel right now. It's just me. It gets a little rocky, and then like it leans over, and you know when you're at the top of a roller coaster and your stomach drops? It's a more emotional feeling, but the back of my mind, I know I'm a good sailor. I'm not gonna fall. It's an emotional response. But then I go back and I just keep sailing. And that's month 3 of my recap. That's how I feel. I'm just sailing. Just sailing. Ooh.